How's it? This is Kevin du Toit, and I have our very famous director, Tsair DRE, who's filming this. This is just a quick intro. We want to walk to the house from what it is now to what it used to be before. And a quick thing that I noticed just putting up today with Eugene was, I remember there were some trees in the front here, and I thought like long term there would be beautiful trees, you know, fully grown and giving the home some shade. But now that they're actually been removed, it just really opens up the beauty of this home. And then over here was a bunch of bamboo with a nice little kind of hidden little courtyard there. I thought, okay, that would be nice. But again, removing that bamboo just gives this home so much more exposure, so much more character. You want to go inside?
Let's go.
Awesome, Gene. So one thing I do like is this new garage door. I want you to see the difference from just having these panel windows in here to the difference that it makes with light inside, that available light. They put some pebbles, big pebbles, to replace where the bamboo used to be. And as we enter Mr. Tsair DRE, okay, look at the difference the flooring has made to the kitchen. It brought it to life. The grays all of a sudden feel alive. They don't feel so dead. The kitchen before, when it had that dark flooring, it was so big and almost like an eyesore. Now when I walk in here, it's eye candy. I can see things better. I can see the countertops. I can see the veins in the marble. The flooring is all seamless. It's just kind of going through the whole place, where before it was kind of broken up. Of course, I love the chandelier. I love how I can all of a sudden, for some reason, it's made things lighter, brighter. All this available light coming in. You can see the expanse of the backyard and the significant difference it's made. Yeah, let's go out there quickly. So look here, what they did was they removed the walls on each side of this patio. So now it's opened up, you've got this panoramic view of this yard. There was dirt over there. Now it's got this grass, which is beautiful and manicured. And then they removed all the shrubbery, all the trees and the bushes that were there before, and planted fruits. Dino's better than I do, he'll mention what they were. But all of a sudden, we've got a beautiful open backyard. Some nice for barbecue area, a nice hose, and man, they even painted. Right, Gene, did they paint this?
Yes.
They even painted, and they painted the beams. I can see that, wow.
Yeah, paint protects the wood. So it's not just from paint, it protects from termites, protects wood.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not just for aesthetics, cosmetics.
And it just keeps going on and on and on. So there was a hole in the wall over here, patched up. This door was never here. So I'll have Gene explain the whole dynamics behind that. Now, this was magic. As I open this up, no lights, just those panel windows there, bring this garage to life. This is a game changer. This was so ugly looking before, it was so nasty before. And the most amazing thing is over here, you've got your storage. Now, we can't really show you, but you pull this down and the pictures will really show you the storage that you have. And there's another entrance door over there. Now what Dad has done, which was Gene's vision, was it actually gave this wing of the home its entire own unit. And this was the big transformation to me. That's a lot of upgrading. This is transformation. As we walk in, there was a wall here. And when I was listening to Gene and he was saying, oh, we're going to expand the bathroom, we're going to make this its own separate unit, I really couldn't understand the why at the beginning. Now I see the final finished product. This was Gene's vision. This bathroom used to be this small. It was tiny. I said to Gene, what did you do? And Gene pointed out, all we did was we added the extra footage because of the toilet. And look how big the shower is. It's just beautiful. It's really, this isn't just a unit. This isn't just even an ADU. This is a lifestyle. Look here. You got your own entrance into the master bedroom. And then you got a block wall that's giving you some privacy and some security. Beautiful ceiling fan. I like this. And this is, it's really cool. I feel the breeze is beautiful. Flooring throughout was amazing. Awesome. And I love the doors. Look at these beautiful new doorknobs they have. And boom, this is going to be your little living room / dining room, just where you can have a peace of mind to a beautiful manicured yard. That to me is one of the most awesome game changers, is to have this view while sitting and relaxing, because it's eye candy, and it's home. It's gonna be somebody's home. Everything's new fan ceilings. Okay, beautiful. Gene can go into the details. For some reason, I missed this last time. I didn't see this little sink here last time. And then if we go over here, Gene, I'll have Gene explain. There might have been this. I remember there's a barn door here, but I don't remember it being this one. The laundromat there, excellent. And then look at those nice shutters. So, nice little closet. The bathroom's the same. It's interesting. It seems different. It doesn't seem. It seems like they did really well, but all they really did, I believe, Gene, please correct me if I'm wrong, is just the flooring, right?
Correct.
But still, it seems like they did a whole remodel there, because my mind isn't really comprehending that this is still the same bathroom, just because of one change, the flooring.
Welcome to this house that we did a major remodel work on. One of the major things you'll notice that Kevin just spoke about is the yard. So they have sod. Sod is different than seeding. So when you have sod, that grass looks like this, because even if you seed your house, it will never look like this, because sod is kind of like a carpet that you kind of put onto the grass and then you start letting it grow out. It's different than if you had just seeded it, where you would have weeds and whatnot. This is immediately have grass, costs a lot more than seeding it, just, growing it from seeds. So as you know, a lot of things I think about are terms of how much does it cost and what's the effect of what I get for how much I pay for. What Kevin talked about as well is this patio. Interesting, because this patio used to have a lot of bamboo, and if you can believe it, the bamboo from where the pebbles are here, the roots, because as we know, bamboo has deep roots, all the way affected the main sewer line. The main sewer line came right here, under there to the city sewers right there. And the roots over here had affected the main sewer line over here, especially if it's clay. Because remember, the house was built in the 60s, 70s, even 80s, they had clay sewers, which means that, it's made out of sand and water. So you have intrusion, roots can get in, they look for water, they look for the sewers. And if you have bamboo, you gotta get rid of it. If you have trees in the front, which I don't like, gotta get rid of it. It'll cut into the sewers. And those are things I'm most worried about. I'm worried about things like what's gonna cost me $1,200 to do a hydrojet every 5 to 10 years because I have roots in my sewer lines and I don't want to completely break. Let's take a look at the house. So here we are again. The biggest thing about this house, as I mentioned, is the flooring completely changes it, because the flooring before was tile. And the problem if you're putting tile flooring, please don't. Because when you're putting tile flooring, you have to put cement board. And when you put the cement board, you can't actually break it. Because when you break it, you have to get like a jackhammer. You have to jack it open. And when you jack it open, you have to get it piece by piece. You have to take it off like piece by piece. Whereas flooring like this, you can just take off one piece you have a crowbar. You take it off one piece at a time and you're done. So what we actually did here, if you can believe it, and you can't even tell, I'm 6'3", I can't even tell, is they put the flooring above it. They floated it above it. So the tile remains here, the laminate is above. And again, it's about 1/2 inch. You can't even tell. Big reason, when you do flooring, you not only have to do the flooring, but you also have to do what's called the baseboards right here. These baseboards need to be done as well, because the heights of the flooring were different. So whenever you do flooring and you get quota for flooring, but you don't do the baseboards, they're going to charge you for it later. They won't tell you, but you do need baseboards. And the baseboards will be different than your other flooring because the heights usually will be different. So the other things that Kevin was talking about as well is some of the changes is the fact that the kitchen here is counters are made a little bit smaller. This can accommodate a nook. It can accommodate a small dining area. And overall, this brings the whole thing together. Kevin had mentioned that this looks like a completely different kitchen because actually the colors of the cabinets complement the flooring rather than clash. So you don't want the colors to clash. And this is the reason why you need a remodel if you want to get quote unquote top dollar and you want a house to look remodeled, you'd have to remodel every 10 to 20 years. Only because, even if it's only because tastes change. People don't want gray anymore. In fact, the gray on these cabinets are probably not good, but it's counteracted by everything else. As an accent, cabinet color of gray is okay when it's wheat, when it's beige on the flooring. But if this whole thing was grayed out, gray is done. So the houses that were remodeled in 2015, 2010, they're almost getting to a point where they have to have another remodel cycle. So remember, when you remodel something, it's good for 10, 15 years, really. And then 20 years, it starts to look dated. And so just because you remodeled once doesn't mean that you're done forever. There's a big weakness to this unit, which when you're looking at this house, this is one reason, even though it costs more money than we'd want, you'd have to do it because you'd already seen the garage. But I want to show you, I wanted you to think about this. This house is 1,800 square feet, has 5 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. And this is the only common area. This is your TV area. This is your sofa area. This is your Lego area. This is everything. So we have one common area, and this one common area here means that everything happens in the bedrooms. You know, children's activities and parent activities all happen in the bedrooms. There's only one common area, which half of it is taken up by the kitchen. So therefore, what does this house desperately need? This house desperately needed, because if you look at here, this used to be just the wall, and the entrance to the garage, direct access, was from one of the bedrooms, which is not usable. You don't want to go from the garage to a master bedroom. It's crazy. So instead of that entrance, the entrance is now to the living room, and we've done the garage. Now, the garage here, what it's become is an additional living area, which means that you can go from the house and you don't have to use this garage for a car, walk from the garage to the house. This could be your den, essentially. And it's particularly good because of the way the garage doors are. The garage doors here have light, so it actually kind of acts like a window. Now, this is not intended for human occupancy, and in fact, I don't think it should be human occupancy, but what it is an additional living space. This is usable as a den. People will use this as a den because drywall, because of lights, because of epoxy. This garage probably costs wholesale $6,000. Retail, if you did this retail, like somebody was coming by saying, oh, I'll pimp out your garage, I think they would charge you close to $20,000. Yes.
Gene, can you show us this? Is this storage accessible?
Sure.
Oh, wow.
Whoops.
Nice, Gene.
So you can climb up, take a look if you like it.
Yeah, let me do that, actually. That'll be a good idea.
And you can see there's a light switch above your head. It's the small details, Kevin.
Yes.
The small details.
Absolutely.
That's where you would store your Halloween decorations. That's where you would store your Christmas decorations. That's where you would store all of that. So this is a good way to drywall the ceiling, have lights in the ceiling, and you can have a lot of storage. So this house has a few weaknesses. One of the weaknesses, as I mentioned, is the fact that it doesn't have a lot of common living area. It doesn't have a lot of storage, really, for the size of house that you have. Storage and additional living area. This will be an additional den. So this is very well done. So from there, another thing I want to emphasize is on this side. I want to emphasize a door here. Can you tell there used to be a door right here?
Not at all.
I can.
Nothing. Not a seam or nothing, Gene.
So you can actually take out doors and things like that. It's not too difficult. If you think about it from perspective of a human, houses are like humans. You have skeletons, you have muscles, and you have skin, right? So the houses have framing, they have drywall, they have texture and paint. The framing is the skeleton, the drywall is the muscles, and the skin is the texture and the paint. So essentially what it is to actually close up a wall is not that much money if you're repainting this whole thing anyway. Because if you just close up the wall, you have to patch all over. What you do is you put additional pieces, studs of wood, and then you will put drywall, and then you would texture, and then you would prime and paint, and then prime and paint, and maybe for the third time, prime and paint. And if that sounds like a lot, it's the same way as if you were building a human body. You put the skeleton in place, then the muscles so you can move the skeletons, and then you put the skin to protect everything. And that's what this is. It's the same concept. So These you should only do when you're doing everything else because it causes a lot of dust, causes a lot of stuff. And if you redo this, that means at least wall to wall, you have to retexture the wall and you have to repaint. So it costs a lot less if you're doing other stuff already, especially because you want to match the flooring. You might have to get baseboards. You might not be able to find baseboards. So it's for it to be seamless, you should do it when everything's already opened up. It makes it, it's kind of like if you're doing surgery, right? Cut yourself open, take a part out, might as well take something else out. Sometimes they do that. When they do surgery, they would take multiple things out that you had issues if you were removing something. So, other than that, something that Kevin brought up that I liked is the fact that when you look down the hall from the, because this is the entrance is right here, entrance is right here. So you walk in the entrance, you can see the light, and then the first thing you see here be this cabinet. Now this cabinet is nice because rather than saying like just a face, like a cabinet face, you have an opening right here so you can put something like a flower. You can put like a portrait. You can hang photos here. So it gives a lot of character when you come here and you know you're coming to a living area. So this makes it less sterile. A lot of these areas are very, very much so.
Gene, with these windows, okay?
They're new.
They're new, okay?
Something I did not mention is that these blinds are called faux wood. So like they're supposed to be like plantation shutters like we had outside, but these are faux wood made from hard vinyl, and it's way better than aluminum because the alternative is aluminum. And when you have aluminum, they bend easily, and when they bend, you see the bend. Because we've all seen that. For apartments, you've seen aluminum windows. So for houses, typically you would update the house with faux wood blinds. Cost twice as much.
Okay. Now, Gene, you're a tall guy. Explain to us why there's a narrow window on this side of the wall, but then you've got this big window on the back side of the wall facing the yard. I know it's obvious, but I mean, is that necessary, or did you want more light in here?
Yeah, the second window is just to get more light. If a room only has one window, it tends to be too dark. If you notice all the rooms here, they have at least 2 windows.
That's very true. I didn't notice that, Gene, yes.
Maybe this one doesn't, but let me see. This one only has one because it only has one. So if
Right.
it's possible to have 2 windows, you always want to have 2 windows.
Right.
Because this one is at the end of the house, so it has 2 windows because it has 2 faces.
And that narrow window does make a difference.
Yeah, and the orientation of the house makes a big difference too. So the orientation of your house would also decide which rooms need more help. So for example, this house is facing north in this way. So it's facing north, that means the sun hits on this way. That means these rooms will be warmer, and that it's more important that these windows are insulating. It's more important that these windows have blinds. These windows may even have to have drapes. These windows might even these rooms might even need to have mini splits. It might even be a good idea, just an individual cooling unit, because this is the north side, it's cool. This is the south side, it's warm. So that's something that you think about when you're buying houses as well.
I really want us to do
it again.
a good in-depth discussion, what you did in this unit over here, Gene.
Okay. If you remember, we started the last video with talking about the bathroom. The way that the bathroom came in was you came into the center area and you went right or you went left, and the bathroom was connecting from either that side.
Correct,
So you
yeah.
can come from either side. So what we did is you removed about 3 feet, which is the width of the door approximately. So then you would add a more space, because this one was too small to be used as a true master bathroom. So afterwards, we can come in and take a look. This bath is usable now. So you have your his and hers. You have a small detail that people may not have noticed, but for a new house especially, you don't want a glass, and you want a hanging mirror. You don't want a built-in mirror, because a hanging mirror, small details, brush nickel. Brush nickel. Brush nickel. And take a look here. Brush nickel.
Ah, very nice.
So why would they do such a thing?
Continuity?
Continuity.
Okay.
Because you may not notice it, but your brain did. Your brain notices when things are off. So it says, hey, look, same. Handles, same. Shower bars, same. These are small details that people who don't know what they're doing, when something's wrong with the house and you don't know what's wrong, it usually has to do with things like this, when things are disjointed in a way. So even just this mirror is really important, because this is a very subtle touch, having the hanging mirror. And this is not like a bolted on mirror, but this is a hanging mirror, because this is what you expect from a house, even if it's a very subtle frame. These things are more expensive than you think.
And it's interesting, and this for some reason adds a lot more class. Just that frame alone adds a lot more class.
It does, because if this didn't have a frame, it looked like an apartment. The way apartments don't have frame, they don't have hanging windows. So when I talk about sometimes about apartment finishings versus house finishings, these are some of the things. I just said two of them. One of them is hanging windows, is a big indication of apartment style or housing style, and aluminum blinds versus faux wood or just wood.
And in the shower, there's two shower heads.
Yeah, that's a more of a European style, or
Okay.
I actually think it's an Asian style. More of an Asian style that's becoming more popular, because it's normal now to have. This is cutting corners a little bit, but sometimes this is, for jean height. So
Right.
if you wanted to, you can extend this out so we can have a waterfall shower. So that's good. But they didn't. So this is more standard, but they have the option to do it because this is actually tall lane. So, Delta. Not only did they didn't get an off-brand. Delta's the expensive one. So another expensive one.
Very
and then
nice.
this is very much like European style. You wash yourself here, and then you wash yourself here. So the reason why a lot of houses used to be in different dimensions is that if you notice, newer houses have higher counters. They usually have, I think it's 36 inches versus older houses have 34 inches. One of the reasons why we had to change this too, because these original 60s, 70s, 80s houses had 34-inch height, which might not sound like a big difference, but for me, it's a big difference. I notice when I'm washing my hands like this and I'm washing my hands like this,
Right.
I notice. It's because before women were in the household more, and now both men and women are both in the household. And as in men are just not out all the time now. They used to be, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, men were hardly home, and now it's kind of a space for both people. So one of them is, this was made for woman height before. Now it's made for both. And showers, if you notice, I don't know if you ever noticed this, older showers, I noticed this because I'm a man. They only go up to right here. I don't know if you noticed that. So if I took a shower, if I wanted to wash my hair, I'd have to do this. This, I don't have to. I can stand erect and I can wash my hair. But for older style showers, I'd have to stand like this and I have to dip my head down. Why? Speculate.
Taller people. Americans getting taller.
Exactly. Because before it was designed for women and now it's designed for everyone. Which is the point I was getting at. Before it was designed for women, especially in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and I think there might be a record of saying this, I don't know where it is, but they said, we want to make sure these ladies don't mess up their perm. Back when they used to perm their hair. So guess what? When you took a shower, where does it hit you? It hits you on the shoulder.
Right.
It doesn't hit your hair. It was actually designed in a way for you to not wash your hair every day.
Wow.
So now we're designing things in a way that you are washing your hair every day, or at least getting it wet. But it was designed before in a way to not wet your hair every day because women would have perms, and so they wouldn't wash it. And nowadays people don't even really think about this, but a lot of the houses before were made for women. Just think about that, because the people who designed the houses knew that 80% of the time it was going to be women in the house. So they designed it with the proportions of someone who's 5'6" or 5'5". And now they're more design proportions of 5'10", kind of to accommodate both men and women, because now they're both in the household. It's a big reason that you need to remodel. Just because a lot of older homes that's why older homes feel like they're for children. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but it feels like it's for a smaller person. And me as a bigger person would actually recognize that.
Yeah.
So
now it's accommodating. Gene, can we go and just show us what you did over here with the doors and removing and adding, because that's also a big remodel in this master bedroom.
This door was here before.
Oh, it was? Okay. So that's right, there was there before.
There was also a door here, and rather than to keep the door here, which doesn't make sense, think about it. You come home from the garage, you come in and surprise, you're in the master bedroom. It's weird. Or you're in a bad bedroom.
That is weird.
And then if there were a door here, is this even usable as a bedroom?
Right.
Very, very much it hurts a lot.
Very inappropriate, yeah, absolutely.
So I never thought garages should go into a bed. I don't think they allow that anymore. But back in the day, they used to build it that way. They used to have doors in the garages and the bedrooms. It's like, sure, we need housing. Why not?
Over there in the corner was a really big, huge hole. What was that? Do you know why they had that before? was huge.
I'm not sure why they had it before. I think they opened it up because of something to do with the entertainment system, something to do with the security system, something to do with wiring to the other side. But it's easy enough. Just, you know, framing, drywall, texture, paint.
Nice.
Fix
Thank you,
anything.
Excellent, excellent, G.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And then the reason for closing up this here and then keeping the bathroom separate.
Yeah, the wall used to be right here too. There used to be a door right here.
Was there a significant reason? Is that to kind of keep this bathroom that anybody in the home can use it, or is it just to make it separate to the master bedroom?
I will talk about that, but first I want to mention people don't fully recognize doors get in the way. So let's look at this door real quick. So if this door really were used every day, because this door is very, very rarely used, but if it was used every day, this will be a problem because every time you open this quarter circle is not usable. So you can never have anything in this corner if you use this door. So that's why we have to get rid of some doors, because doors eat into the room with the space. So that's why we had to get rid of the door here, because you create more space this way.
Yeah, thank you, G.
We have to do small things to create space. So
Smart thinking.
So this was always, even though there's not technically a master, because the bathroom here does not lead into any of the bedrooms, but because of this here door, this becomes its own private space. So the most likely use of having these 2 bedrooms here and 1 bathroom could, number 1, be you can lease it out separately, close the door, and you're separate units. And number 2, you have one of the bedrooms, one is a sleeping quarters, the one is a flexible use space. A flexible use space will be either like an office, will be a den, or it will be a nursery. So or an additional closet, because these rooms, they do have closets, but they're not massive. This was built out. This closet was built out. This used to go to the end.
Okay.
This is built out. That's why it looks so different too, because and you might say, oh, how'd you build a wall? Framing, drywall, texture, and paint. That's all it is. Bones, muscle, skin. This is not holding anything up. So it's okay. As long as it's not a support structure, you can add as many walls as you want, as long as it's not holding anything up. Like, think about it. This is a T. This will be holding the top up. If you add a couple more, does it hurt anything? No. As long as you don't actually hurt the T. That's what a supporting wall is. Is there anything else? we came, I don't want to say we came over budget. If he did what I told him to do, we would have had at the budget that I said, but this went more because the owner wanted to do more. And maybe rightfully so, but as a rental, it's a little bit much. A few more things I guess I can point out why it's a little bit much. You got to be very careful when you're renting a unit like this, because now you only have a security deposit that you have to do 1 month security deposit. So it's problematic because I don't know how much this is. Let me show you something cool. I don't know how much this is, but I know it's expensive. So this thing, if it breaks, will cost you more than one month security deposit. I will guarantee you that. And yet, these are not the kind of things that you want for a rental. These things have all these mechanical moving parts and they will break. So you have to be very careful with the tenants that you pick, because if this breaks, it's gonna be a very hard time getting the money back. Another thing is, how much do you think that refrigerator is? Retail price?
5,500.
More than 10,000. Including taxes.
Okay, that's
It's a
insane.
stupid refrigerator.
That's insane.
You have the stuff on top, like you have your compressor, refrigerator stuff. And
that's
it's
insane.
Same as any other refrigerator.
Yeah.
It's just that it's designed to be built in, and it's not super big, but it's built in to the cabinets. And any one of these built-in refrigerators, the least expensive one I've seen is, I think, $6,000. It's crazy, least expensive.
Yeah.
Normally they're about at least 10, including taxes, maybe like 12. For a freaking refrigerator. This was here. Thank God this was here. But these kind of things are not good for rentals. So when you have rentals, you got to watch out for these kind of things, and you have to be pickier for your tenants, because the wrong tenant, when they destroy this and you have to buy another $12,000 refrigerator, not a happy camper. I want to be a happy camper.
Beautiful. Nice, Gene. Wow, thank you.
We can talk about the backyard, I guess. The main thing about the backyard is this was cleared out. So number one, the number one way to make it seem as though you have more space is just to clear stuff out, because everything is very cluttered, just too cluttered. What's nice about this is when you have these used to be exposed and now they're painted. Painting is not just cosmetic. The purpose of painting is so that you can protect it, because termites don't eat paint. Termites eat wood pulp. You felt wood pulp, like kind of like a grainy, kind of like a mist. That's wood pulp. That's what termites eat. It has nutrients. They don't eat paint. So when you paint over something, it protects it from termites. That's why it's important to paint the whole thing. Just the painting the whole ceiling changes the whole look of the place. But otherwise, this used to be dirt. Now it's grass. It's same as it's sod. You have fruit trees on the side. The fruit trees would be papaya, apple. Well, actually, maybe we see this. I think that one's a papaya. That's an apple, I think. Those are citrus. I'm not sure what type of lemon or orange, some kind of citrus. Guava. That's another citrus. And guava. There's a lot of guava here.
And then, Gene, if you can talk about the grass, okay? You kind of gave me a little bit of an educational. Gene, I mean, this seems significant. I mean, this is filling all that dirt that was here before. What's the cost of something like that, Gene?
Way too much.
Yeah. Is it worth it, or could you just left it as dirt?
If it was me, and I'm doing a rental, I'm not buying sod. So I don't know exactly how much it is. If I had to guess, every time that I've done sod, it probably costs nearly right about twice as much as if I seeded it. So if I seeded this thing, I think I can do this for less than $2,500, including the sprinklers, getting the new valves, getting the sprinklers, getting the timer, getting the, so to do a yard, this is what you have to do, right? If it's like dead, and you have bad sprinklers, bad everything, you got to dig it all up, and you got to put PVC pipe, plastic pipe, stick it together with some glue, and then so you have water. And then afterwards, you have to close up all of the dirt. And then afterwards, you have to rototill. Rototilling is when you would kind of roll the dirt. So you kind of turn the dirt over. So then after you turn the dirt over, then you would plant seeds on it. You would sprinkle seeds on it, and then you would run the sprinklers. And then when you run the sprinklers, actually before you actually do that, you have to new valves too. So what's a valve? A valve is a control mechanism. So it connects to the water supply of the house. And when the timer tells it to go on, then it turns on, and it turns on your sprinklers. So you need sprinklers, you need valves, you need a rototill, and then you need to fertilize, and then you need to seed, and then you need a water. And then when you have seeds and you have grass, you have weeds, and then you have to de-weed, and then you have to add more seed, and then you have to water it more. Does that sound like a lot of work?
That sounds like a ton of work, Gene, yeah.
All the first things you have to do with sod as well. But the only thing with sod is that after you rototill it and you fertilize it, you can just throw sod right on top of it. And so just start watering it, and it'll live.
Very nice.
But if you seed it, then you have to grow it from scratch. And the biggest thing about seeding is that you have a lot of weeds in between. So you have crabgrass, you have a lot of things because the soil has other grass other than grass. When you have sod, basically you're just killing all the other grass, and you're just putting sod. So it's way cleaner. You can see there's no other crabgrass.
Yeah,
there's no other weeds.
yeah.
There's no dandelions.
Right.
There's none of that.
It's beautiful.
If you were to
So
seed,
nice.
you would have other types of grass as well. Sod, you wouldn't have other types of grass.
Nice.
More expensive. I would say this patch, if I had to guess, just for sod, probably was about $1,800. I'm probably wrong because I don't do this kind of stuff very often because I don't do sod. But if I had to guess, it'll probably be $1,800 just for the sod. But obviously, you have to do the digging for the pipes, the valves, the timers, the rototilling, the fertilizing, the labor to do all that. But the sod itself will be about $1,800, which is a lot. Because if I had just did all that work and I just seeded it instead and had a gardener come by 2 or 3 times to do it, it'll probably cost me about $800. Because it's basically just him coming by with some seeds, sprinkling, shooting, and then just leaving, coming back 2 weeks later, de-weeding, sprinkle more seeds, and then leaving. It's him coming back like 4 or 5 times, which it's not $1,800. Wow. Sod is like pre-purchased, prefabricated. Here we go.
And Gene, if you don't mind talking about that wall behind you, because most of it wasn't there. Now all of a sudden we have a whole big nice.
You can tell that the wall is different color. This is slightly gray. That one is more of a beige color. So the wall here is a new block wall. So the wall between here and down the way here with the neighbor used to be open because the fence that was there before had collapsed.
Yeah, right.
And now they rebuilt the wall, so you have privacy between the two.
Excellent. Thank you, Gene. Beautiful, yeah. Beautiful.
$8,000. Wow. $8,000 American. Crazy. No, just everything costs a lot of money. Quite honestly, this is a lot of concrete. This is one of the value you see when you're buying a house. Please point to the concrete. This much concrete, all of this concrete here, if you were to do it today, if you were to redo this concrete, like the whole thing, you tear it all out, you trash all of it, and you redid it, will be more than $20,000. This is a lot of concrete, though.
That's crazy, Gene. Yeah.
It's concrete is obscene. Block wall, like these kind of materials,
Right.
obscene, because this is grout, I guess. It's type like concrete, and the material, this is very similar to cement, basically cement. These are expensive materials. They're heavy.
Yes.
They require a lot of labor. Remember, this is something I actually used to tell people when I used to work with a lot of foreigners, is they said, why is America so expensive? Why are the houses so expensive? The United States, every single house in the United States is handmade, handcrafted just for you. Every single house here must be done by a craftsman's hand. We don't have manufacturing for houses. All of the assembly for houses must be done by hand. This house and every other house that you've ever lived in was crafted by hand. Some mobile homes are not. Some specialty homes, like they're trying to get it to like a manufactured home, but they're not built in a factory. These homes are fixed and repaired and maintained by craftsmen, and they're done by hand.
Beautiful. Thank you, Gene.
Anything else?
That was amazing. That was very good. Thank you.
Yeah. So other than that, we would love to show you some of our other transformations for some of the other properties. I'd love, please let us know, please comment below if you would like us to do things if you want us to focus on what I like to focus on is how much this whole thing costs, or if you like what Kevin's talking about of what's the wow factor, what is it that's more of a aesthetic, more of a artistic. So I think that those are two directions that we can go into. There's a whole block of things that you can talk to when you're talking about a house. You can talk about the financial aspects. You can talk about the investment aspects. You can talk about the aesthetic aspects. We've just skimmed it a little bit. If there's anything else you'd like to hear, let us know. Otherwise, thank you for watching Generational Wealth Investing, and we'll see you next time.